Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Cosmo Muse Tarot. This reading we are going to get into is all about something your future self, like your future self in the near future, like a year from now maybe, would like you to know about the birth year you are experiencing. So whenever your birthday is, we get what's called in astrology a solar return chart, and there's certain things in that kind of can set a tone and certain things going on for our year. And so that's sort of what I'm tapping into here, is what does your future self a year from now want you to know about what you're experiencing in your current birth year. So if you've just had a birthday, you could look at this as like things to come. If you're closer to almost experiencing, like coming up on a birthday, you could look at this more of like looking, things to look back on and how to integrate things that have gone on in your year. So it doesn't matter how close or far away you are from your next birthday, or the current, the most recent birthday or the next birthday, whenever you see this, it is for the current year you are in relation to your birthday. So I hope that makes sense. So we're going to draw 3 piles, and I will also put some stones on those because I'm going to keep these face down. Filling this one and one more. And that one. So let's put some stones with these to differentiate and give a vibe for each of them. And I do want to say with this reading, it's going to be somewhat quick, just kind of a check-in, big picture thing your future self wants you to know. So because these are kind of really honing in on something specific and one slice of thing, one aspect of your year, you could definitely pick more than one pile here. If you feel drawn to more than one pile, that is fine. Okay, so pile 1, we have flower agate. Pile 2, we have a red jasper. And pile 3, we have blue orchid agate. Feel free to pause here if you need some time to sit with these and tune into your intuition, whichever pile or piles you're being drawn to. All right, I will see you guys in your readings. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your reading. So we are checking in with your future self a year from now that wants to help you get a big picture understanding of what the birth year you are currently in is sort of about, what would be good to understand about this year, what would be good to be able to assimilate better and have more awareness of in the current birthday year that you are in. Okay, so you have the flower agate, which we'll put to the side, and these are going to be pretty simple, quick messages. So I'm turning this over in real time. I haven't seen it yet. Strength, which is really interesting. Before I even did the intro, this was the card that was on top of the deck. So that's like fresh in my mind already. I don't know if that means anything, but I'm going to just keep that awareness. So strength, bearberry, and then there's like a more scientific name for that specific thing, but we'll just call it bearberry. So strength, I love the red and green here. Green always has that energy of the heart, as well as I always think of like evergreens. It's like always growing, always refreshing things. So definitely a freshness there. And then red to me, I don't know, like the colors are sticking out to me in this for some reason. So red and green. So red, some passion, some energy. So this is a year where maybe you are refreshing your energy, where you are tapping back into a certain vitality. And because some of this is like being colored in still, it's almost like you're tapping into vitality that had been lacking maybe in the previous year or years. But this birthday year, it's like you either are just naturally gaining more vitality coming into yourself and sort of refreshing your vitality, or that's something your future self is asking you to pay attention to. What are some things you could do to rejuvenate and find more energy and cultivate more energy and strength within you? Whatever feels right to you, whether it's a call to action that like your future self is saying that would be really beneficial to do, or it's just saying like, hey, notice that it's really cool that you're kind of restoring some vitality. Okay, I'm going to get a Sacred Destiny card to add into this. Oops. Healing Chaos. So yeah, my sense is maybe you've come from a year or a couple of previous years where things were maybe falling apart a little. There could have even for some of you been some health issues that you've been recovering from, or it could just be some general exhaustion because life got complicated and complex and certain things ended up being chaotic, and your future self is saying that, but this is a year to really focus on like coming back into you, coming back into your center, restoring some things, really paying attention to what lights you up, what excites you, and simplifying to focus on that, really getting back into centering, back into you to restore some drive, some vitality, some energy. Okay, let's get an animal card on top of this. Add a little bit more here. Elephant, grounding. Okay, let's see what that says underneath it. That writing's really small, so I have to kind of hold it up close to me. Okay, ground your energies and emotions deep into the earth. Yeah, I do feel your future self saying it would be really, like, I think this is a year where it's more about putting effort into restoring some energy, simplifying some aspects of life, really getting back into your center, really paying attention to what brings you energy, drive, motivation, and prioritizing that and allowing some of the peripheral things of life kind of recede into the background as much as that's possible for you, and doing some restorative things like with this grounding with the elephant. It's like take some of that big, chaotic, complicated, complex energies that you have been dealing with and find a way to like give that energy back into the earth, give that back into back to source, back to where it came from, whatever makes sense to you, but find ways to kind of ground yourself, let go of some things, do some restorative things or healing work or energetic work to just release some of the baggage that's left over from a previous chaotic year or a chaotic moment that you're starting to come out of. But your future self is saying, like, the view I have right now whenever you come to this is that it's time to release some of these things that are kind of weighing you down, that you're holding, that it's time to let go of, and so that life can be a little bit more simple, a little more fresh, and a little more vital. Okay, so really clear message from your future self coming in that's saying, just to reiterate, time to let the big boundaries, let the chaos, let any baggage you're holding, find a way to let some of this go, find a way to do some restorative practices, and find a way to cultivate coming back to your center, coming back to simplicity, coming back into what really just lights you up and gives you a sense of impulse and eagerness in life. So we are just going to end this with a divine. So we've sort of been talking to your 1 year in the future self, but also just ending on a divine message as well from Spirit. It says, Finch, new opportunities and choices are opening up to you now. Claim them. Yeah, it's kind of like time to let go of some complications from the past or some complexities from the past. Make room for new things to come in. New opportunities are coming in, but it's like you need to clear the baggage, breathe, get back into your center, and start doing things that light you up, and that is exactly what's going to attract in these new opportunities. And Spirit saying claim them. They'll be very aligned. I get that sense. They'll be very aligned to you and very they are going to be magnetized to that new strength coming up in you, in that new vitality that your future self is asking you to cultivate. Okay, that's where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope this was a helpful message for right now within your birthday year, wherever you are in that. And yeah, if it did resonate, I always appreciate support with likes, shares, and subscribes. Always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. But thank you for being here. That in itself is really supportive, so I appreciate that. Thank you for letting me read for you, and I will see you in future readings. Hello, pile 2, my red jasper pile. Let's put your stone over to the side here. So diving in, we're just getting a quick message from your future self a year from now about the current birthday year you are experiencing. What can your future self a year from now tell you about something quite specific about the year you are experiencing? So I haven't seen your card yet. Let's see what's going on here. We've got Dandelion with humility. I also do have my own association with Dandelion, which is resilience. But I like humility as well. I kind of want to tie those together, resilience and humility. Dandelions are quite a common, they can be perceived as a weed. I tend to like them and don't think of them as weeds because I find them pretty. But there's something, they do have this very common element, at least in geographical zones where they grow, which I think are a lot of places, most places. There's a common feel to them. And so there's something that your future self is trying to communicate to you where it's like, I'm trying to feel what's coming through here. It's sort of like, don't over glamorize life right now. Love being in some normalcy. Love finding beauty and sacredness in just the day-to-day, in the normal things you do day in and day out. Find a way to see those as beautiful. Find a way to refine what you're doing so that you do find it beautiful. Find a way to really come into a sense of love for just the mundane, right? For ritual and rhythm and routine. There's something about really cultivating beauty in that does give you resilience. So tapping back into the word I associate here, that is something that can give you a lot of resilience, is if you really cultivate a day-to-day mundane aspect to life. It's like an anchoring. It's like something that really grounds and gives you foundation and direction and purpose and a feeling of productivity, whatever that means to you. We all have different concepts of what's productive to us. And there's something that in doing so, in loving your day to day, gives you resilience, and something about being humble enough to just like really love some mundane aspects of life. Okay, so that is what came through. That was sort of a longer channeled message than the first pile for that first card. So let's see. What is that feeling? Like your future self is really trying to be explicit here. Almost not quite lecturing you, but like on the verge of like, really listen to me kind of thing coming through here. Okay, let's get a sacred destiny card to add to this. Enlightenment. Yeah, it's your future self is saying that sometimes when you just really hone in on and pay attention to the mundane, make it sacred, there's actually this thing that happens that lifts you up. It's like you just generally start to love life even more and see beautiful things about every moment in life. And that in itself is something that starts to give you more ascension, more like a greater awareness and consciousness about life, because you're really present in even the most mundane thing. You know, it's easy to be present in the big things or in the dreams or in the, whatever, the exciting stuff. But when you can be present in those rituals and rhythms that we sometimes are on autopilot with, if you can work to be present with that and be focused on even the little things, you open up your consciousness in new ways. You're not just running on autopilot constantly, and more awareness starts to kind of open up for you. And so your future self is saying that, like, paradoxically, by like really noticing the mundane things and the small details and the autopilot aspects of life, these are exactly the things that are going to open your consciousness and awareness to more inspiration and a more enlightened state of being. So really interesting message coming through here. Okay, let's get an animal message. This is kind of the last element from your future self, and then we'll get one card also from this, a message from spirit too to end. Okay, so an animal message that your future self wants to use to communicate to you about this message. Feeling this. Peacock, self-love, beautiful. Time to celebrate you and your magnificent light. That coming in, your magnificent light, right next to enlightenment. Magnificent, meant, light, enlighten. There's something coming in here of, which also is funny because peacock you think of being a little bit showy and vain, but then you have humility here. So that's an interesting paradox again. There's some definite paradoxes that, like, your future self is a little bit humorous here. I think in loving, there may be, and what I'm sensing, it's a very interesting message coming through from your future self. It's like you may be trying to focus on the big glamorous things, the exciting things, the showy things. But that is not your path to enlightenment, and that is not your path to self-love. If you can really settle into the little moments, the everyday moments, the mundane moments, that awareness opens up and you end up getting to the self-love and the beauty and the showiness in a way that you can't just skip to. You can't just focus on wanting to feel enlightened and beautiful and filled with self-love by bypassing the mundane, by being humble enough to really love the little small aspects of life, the little day-to-day elements and rituals and routines that some people find so monotonous and uninteresting and just kind of like zombie their way through. There's something coming through here that if you can, come down to earth a little bit from where you currently are, and you may already be good at this, but your future self is saying more. You may be hearing this and being like, yeah, I don't give enough love to the little things and the rituals and the routines and whatever. And like getting what your future self is saying. But some of you may already be good at this in a way, but your future self is saying more though. Like more humility in just paying attention to what you currently find a little monotonous and finding a way to make it beautiful. And that is the thing that opens your consciousness up, and that opening of consciousness like brings this flooding in of self-love and a glow up, a real sense of more beauty, feeling beauty in life and in yourself coming through. So yeah, very interesting message. Nothing kind of like came out the way I would have expected as we went through. But yeah, it makes sense in the end. Okay, so to end this, we are also going to get a message from Spirit, just something that it wants to add to this message from your future self. This one wants to come out. So Raven, the universe is calling you to notice important synchronicities. So Spirit really wants to help you in terms of knowing what these mundane or small or ritualistic or routine aspects of life that your future self is talking about. Spirit will help you with this. It will bring synchronicities. It will bring things that will help you to notice what your future self is talking about, specific to you, because each of your future selves probably would point to quite specific things, but it would be different to each of you. And so that's where Spirit is wanting to add to this message of like, I will help you watch synchronicities, watch where I'm pulling your attention, watch where things are continuously grabbing at you. That is Spirit helping you to notice specifically what your future self is saying about paying attention to the small, the mundane, the ritual of life, and the day-to-day of life. All right, that's where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope this brought some good insight for you about the birthday year you are in, and something your future self says would be really beneficial to kind of focus in on. All right, if this did resonate, I always appreciate support. Likes, shares, subscribes are an easy way to do that. Always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. But thank you for being here. That in itself is supportive. And yeah, I hope to see you in future readings. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading where we are going to get a message from your future self a year from now, giving you some wisdom and insight and guidance around what you are currently experiencing in the birthday year you are in. Whether you've just had a birthday or you're close to a birthday, that doesn't matter. The birthday year you are in. So, just giving you a little bit of, from its hindsight perspective, something it really feels you could notice better and really play into with more awareness and thoughtfulness, that would be really beneficial to you from its perspective where it is now. Okay, so I'm going to put your blue orchid agate to the side and let's see what your initial card is. Ooh, Brighton, Calendula. That's really beautiful. So two messages are coming through, and I think it's because we have maybe two versions of how people might be experiencing your year. For some of you, your future self is saying, notice how bright this year is. Notice your mood, how it's light, how it's up, how it's optimistic. Cultivate that. Don't sleep on it. Don't ignore that. There's something about that brightness that's infusing your life right now. That if you really honor and pay attention to and use, something about that your future self wants you to do, wants you to really understand. And it may even be that your future self is like in the next year, birthday year you're in, is like a little, I don't want to, it's going to be different for everyone, so I'm not trying to put anything negative, but like a little heavier, a little more responsibility or challenges or whatever. And so it's like, really enjoy this year, because there is a brightness here that, you don't get every birthday year. For some of you, the other message that's coming through, it's like a different type of, there's like two groups here, I feel like. So for some of you, if that doesn't make sense to you, or you're like, I don't feel this year as bright at all. So for those of you that don't resonate with what I'd just been talking about, your future self is saying, there is opening coming and there is access to a brighter energy in your life. So pay attention. Put effort into lightening up, put effort into seeing life more positively, put effort into having a little bit more fun in life right now. And your future self saying that is accessible to you, at least coming up from where you are right now. Look for it, pay attention to it, seek it. That's something your future self feels like would be really beneficial. Okay, let's get a Sacred Destiny card to add to what's going on here. This message. Diligence. Yeah, again, so either way, and I did feel that diligent energy coming through, which is funny with brighten and lighten. I did feel that tone from the future self, which on either version of what we just talked about, that either be diligent about getting the most out of the brightness you're feeling, or really be diligent about seeking the brightness, about lightening up. Whichever way it goes for you, there is this thing of like your future self saying, really focus on this, give energy to it, be diligent, because it's either accessible or it's here, and that's something you don't always get in every year of your life. That kind of ebbs and flows, right? But there's something just really beautiful to be experienced this year. So be diligent about seeking it, cultivating it, experiencing it when you do have it and are present with that. It's something to really focus on this year for you. Okay, we're going to get an animal, a message from the animal realm. Well, it's a message from your future self, and it's wanting to use an animal to help fill this message out a little bit more. Okay, hopefully that made sense. Sloth, digital detox. Ooh, I love that coming through. I haven't even read what's underneath it. The writing's so small, I'll have to hold it up when I get ready, when I feel ready to read that. But already got flooded with this thing of like, my feeling is the majority of you, your future self is saying, work on brightening, work on lightening. It's time to give energy and focus to what makes life feel bright. And part of what that could be is getting off of screen time, getting off of social media, getting off of scrolling, getting off of being on a computer and at a desk. And even when you're up and about, like fixations with just getting on your phone because it's there, and there's these patterns that get set in our neural pathways. We just habitually feel like we're supposed to click on something, scroll on something, see something, be informed about something, play with something on a screen. And this is saying, no, you need to get off of it. This is something that's really clogging up your brightness. Get off of it. I know, like, for some people, like, your job might require you to be on technology and be in front of screens, but any free time you have, I feel your future self saying, put your phone away, leave it in a different room, leave it in your purse or pocket when you're out and about. Like, do not, when you are having time that is your own, do not have technology accessible. It has clogged something up for you, and you need to give focus and diligence to being off of that so you can just be present to life, be present to what you're feeling, be present to what's going on around you in the real 3D material, in-person world, the screen of the 3D that you experience just by walking out the door or looking up, right? Something about this, your future self is saying, would be so beneficial to you in this year to put more energy toward. Put the things down, get out, be face to face with people, go out and touch nature, go out and listen to the sounds of the world and people watch, and, you know, just take in life in its real form, not in screen form, and it will just light things up for you. Yeah, beautiful message coming through. I feel like that could be anybody. You know, I would say like 99% of the world could probably use this message, at least in the Western kind of media obsessed world. So to end this, we are also going to get a message from Spirit to add on to what your future self a year from now was bringing you. So what does Spirit want to add to this? Vulture, accept the inevitable, let go of the past, and welcome a rebirth to begin. Wow, that's a kind of unexpected energy, because I immediately felt this message of like, something is coming for you, like more destined or fated, right? But you need to have your awareness. You need to be looking up and out at the world. Something new is coming in, but you need to be present. You need to be in awareness, in your body, in real life. And I don't know, there is this thing of like, let go of the past. That could be sort of, that is some insight actually, because as I felt that and like sort of checked with the future self voice, I'm feeling it was like, yes, that maybe you are closing out a cycle, and that can be transition times, right? Can be a little bit uncertain, and that can ramp up sorts of behaviors of like fidgeting, and so which could align with like screen time and scrolling. So it's saying a really great way to Spirit is adding to this message like a really great way, or just giving more insight and clarity about what your future self was saying, like a great way to alleviate some uncertainty and some tension and some of that transitional energy you might be feeling, is to just go out and be out in the world, present, doing things, being busy doing real things in real life. Use your hands to do things, like building something or writing something, but even like literally with pen and paper, not like typing, like write something, draw something, go and gather things in nature, make meals that are cool. But it's like get fit, like there's something about getting physical with life will help to dispel some uncertainty you may be feeling right now. Versus if you're doing some, absorbing some of that energy into scrolling and technology, it's really, look at the difference. Brighten and sloth. It's clogging things up for you. It's slowing you down. It's making you feel lethargic, sad, a little bit even depressed. I don't think of sloths themselves as depressed, but when we feel slothful, that can come alongside with feeling a little depressed. And this is just like, go do things that brighten life. Go be in the sun, right? Go be outside. Go do things where you're in your body and engaging life in a very present way. And that will dispel some uncertainty, which is really great, because then you're more present and more aware in a more positive and bright way to see and accept when something new is about to come in, a rebirth of sorts, something's beginning. But be diligent about getting into a brighter space and into brighter activities. Very cool. All right. So I hope that was helpful and insightful for you guys. If so, I always appreciate support with likes, shares, and subscribes. Always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. And I hope to see you guys in future readings. Thank you for letting me read for you, and I will see you another time.